Recently I read an interesting journal that was a report of Phebe Cramer titled Young Adult Narcissism, a 20-year-old longitudinal study of the contribution of parenting styles, preschool precursors of narcissism and denial. Now, before I begin explaining it, take some time to think about the different stages of development where your parents' actions have affected your life. Phebe Cramer then explains the reasoning behind this in 4 major parenting styles as well as their connection to narcissism. The first type of parenting is the authoritarian or autocratic parent, demanding but not responsive. In this situation, the parent tries to shape and control every aspect of their child's life. It can be comparable to a dictatorship where parents expect obedience from their children without reasoning. Punishment is commonly used as a way to control the situation. The second type of parenting is the indulgent or permissive style, responsive but not demanding. This describes a parent that gives lots of affection but is very loose when it comes to enforcing rules and guidelines. They are extremely lenient, not requiring mature behavior. The third type of parenting is the indifferent or uninvolved parent, neither responsive nor demanding. In this situation, the child is basically left on their own, and the parent encourages independency with very little support for their child. So in other words, the child is responsible for their own life. The final parenting style is authoritative. This usually is the most successful method of raising children, as parents are able to set clear rules for their children. The difference between authoritative and authoritarian is that parents explain the reasoning for their actions to influence a certain behavior of their child. Authoritative parents are open to their child's point of view and give discipline rather than harsh punishment. Each of these parenting styles that I just mentioned in the previous slides influences the development of an individual's sense of self in different ways. The way a child views his or herself is then related to the development of narcissism. So it is important to keep a balance between a child's responsiveness and demandingness. Phebe Cramer refers to narcissism as a defensive process. It's used to protect us from anxiety and things like negative self-image. As narcissism deals with avoiding a negative interpretation of oneself, denial has a direct connection with narcissism in young adults. So now that we have a bunch of facts about parenting styles, in order to investigate parenting styles and their connection with narcissism in young adults, a longitudinal study was conducted studying the same group of preschoolers over a span of 20 years. The hypothesis states that at age 23, narcissism will depend on the presence of early origins of narcissism as a child, and denial as well as responsiveness and demandingness of the parents. The experiment had both predictable and surprising results. Healthy narcissism appeared when a child's needs were met early on in their life. Authoritative and indulgent parenting both fit under this category, which included a parent's response to their child's needs. Now, on the other hand, authoritarian parenting styles, which do not respond to a child's needs, resulted in maladaptive narcissism. Also, a surprising result came from the experiment that stated indifferent parenting, which is also unresponsive to the child's needs, did not forecast maladaptive narcissism. A few limitations might have contributed to this experiment, resulting in some skewed results. For example, it is assumed that the effect of parenting is the cause of narcissism, but it could be the other way around. It is unlikely but possible that narcissism